Welcome to the Market Research Minute. I'm Isaiah Adams, and today we're going to talk about Mobile Choice-Based Conjoint. We have a special guest with us today, Gerard Loosschilder, the Chief Innovation Officer at SKIM. Gerard, how are we doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we'll just jump in. The first question that comes to mind is when people start thinking about Mobile Choice-Based Conjoint, the first issue is the issue of screen real estate. How would you fire back at that concern, and have you guys done any research on research that shows this kind of activity can be done effectively on a mobile device?
Yes, we have. Basically the primary concern we had in the first place with mobile was not so much the screen real estate, but the attention span of people taking surveys. So most of the research that we've done is into how we can reduce the number of choice tasks, how we can basically reduce the burden on the respondent. But as part of that, we of course at some point also need to look at the real estate on screen. And yes, we've done research into that, but actually what's more important is that we work with what we call interaction designers, people who really know everything about IT and about interaction design to really optimize the use of the real estate on screen. So really optimize the HTML code that we use, HTML5 code that we use on mobile devices to run the surveys. And for example, make a better balance between making the screen pretty, which you may do on a regular survey in a common device, but then more look at the distribution of the space to, for example, the choice options, the question answer formats, and the progress information that you have in the survey. So, but it's really important to have real interaction designers work on that and not just do research on it, but really have a good design perspective on how to build these tasks. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We've had some email conversations offline, and one of the ways you've addressed concerns about mobile choice-based conjoint is by talking about the importance of how you communicate attributes. For your clients, you mentioned you do this by running them through a copywriting exercise. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. What happens is we don't only do conjoint, we also do value proposition and claims kind of research. The things that people say about the brands say about themselves and about their products, the things they claim in market. And what we know from all of that research is it's not just important what you say about your product and brand, but also how you say it, which brings us closer to copywriting and the development of value propositions. Now that kind of knowledge, the product specifications, what it means to the customer, and why that would be important to them, bring that information in a very efficient, succinct and efficient way. That's a copywriting exercise. And I believe we're researchers. We're not born to write copy. So that's important to see collaboration with brand management and with copywriters, so to say.
So this is more of a what's your opinion type of question. What's your opinion on the optimal number of attributes shown in a mobile choice-based conjoint? And on top of that, what's the maximum number of attributes you feel comfortable showing and still being confident that things are running correctly?
For now, I mean, what we see is mCBC is mobile forms of choice-based conjoint are pretty much in development in experimental stages. So what we use as a limit is actually 5 attributes at 5 levels, but that has not so much to do with the real estate on screen. Also, of course, but also the number of parameters that you have to estimate. And what we've seen in our research what would deliver stable results in the HB estimations that we do. And what we see is that with 5 attributes and 5 levels each, so the number of parameters, 25 parameters, that would be a good number. And of course that translates into screen real estate, so I would also stay with that for what you can show on a little screen.
So when you're doing this type of thing, and in our experience as well, clients have certain demands of how they like the conjoint exercise to run and how it looks and how it feels. How do you combat those demands knowing the limited flexibility of a mobile choice-based conjoint?
Yeah, well, at some point you just have to claim your expertise and say you know better, and then bring in your client managers to really be strong in their position towards the client of how we want to do it, how we want to run the study. I think that we also have many examples of how we do our interaction designs well, and then they will naturally feel that we're in a good place to actually make a recommendation as to what it looks like. And we've always had a habit of being very influential and demanding on how we represent attributes and levels, whether it's visual or in words. So that will just continue.
Yeah. So this is our last question. It's kind of a loaded question. But how big of an opportunity is mobile choice-based conjoint? What are some of the reactions you've seen from your clients? And how many people actually take a conjoint study on a mobile device versus a desktop?
Yeah, what do we see? And that I've seen it in many places that by now conjoint in general, surveys in general are taken in a country like the US between 10 and 20% of all the surveys that are run. So it's pretty much, yeah, it's already substantial. It's also an emerging development. I think that in 5 to 10 years time, it's a necessary condition to be on mobile. It's not a question of what is the size of the opportunity. It's like, can you avoid it when you know that in 10 years time, everyone or the majority of the internet use will be over a mobile device. So it's just a necessary condition. It's something you just have to prepare for, and I think we can't stop. We run into problems with fieldwork in emerging markets in Africa and Asia that we think the market has developed already, but it's not yet. Sample is not available or not stable, but I think it's just unavoidable that we're going there.
This has been your Market Research Minute. For more information, check out our website at optimizationgroup.com.